All right, this is part two, and we're going to start at chapter 2, verse 33. And let's get started here. Um, Not much to tell about there, except for let's see this here. This is more or less like a conversation that our Creator's prophecies don't do that. Okay, He doesn't go out there and then kind of like have a conversation with people. So this you can see as a conversation that a Creator's having, and He wouldn't do that. A prophet goes and declares or prophesizes, and that's it. He doesn't. He pretty much tells the story itself. This here, um, no, this is not. It would need to be in the story of somebody happening. When you see the stories in like Exodus and stuff like that, and the other people are and the story is there, that's where you'd find words like that, but not here in prophecies. And pretty much, um, God says, well, that our Creator wouldn't speak like that. No, this is not needed. Now this text, as you notice, doesn't really have a starting, and it's still a 3 verse, but I don't know if it hooks to this 3 verse. So as I go through, I'm looking still for what works and what doesn't work. Um, Not that you have violated your adulterers. I guess I should be pointing them out this way here. Violators to adulterers, because by seeing her and her having this sex practice, this is what our Creator is going to be calling them, adulterers. And it's going to be that yeah, here it is. You have a harlot in your forehead. Okay. You have harlot in forehead. So the thing here is the text was there um, by our Creator saying that this is harlots, which would mean adulterers. Okay. Um, and like Arabs, they're hard to harlots evilness. Yes, that's what. Um, Whoops, what happened? Yep, I see I did. I clicked the wrong button here. Um, okay, so here, this text, when it says, I have withheld it from you, now we have to have the awareness that there's a drought going on. Okay. So this has to reflect in the text, and you'll see it reflecting in the text sooner or later. I just wanted to point out that it starts there. Might be the fourth, fifth video, but I know it's in the text. And they refuse to be ashamed for having this practice. Um, but they still come in and call him father, friend of my youth, because they're trying to act like as if they're still obeying our Creator, but they just ignore him. It's trickery. It's deceiving people, and that's what they were doing. Even today, there's still these guys out there that are doing this practice that still can't read messages. Who do evilness. Now, see this text here. I know that the beginning text has got to be tied to him, but because that drought doesn't happen in Josiah's time. So when this text goes together, this is going to be under a different king. So this didn't work out trying to use this. you just can't go through here and zip through it 3, 4 times. You got to take it and put it over the side. And by the time you get done uh, piecing all the pieces together and then putting the puzzle together, you realize that "Oh, I got to go back and change everything on this, and I got to find out what I did way back here in the beginning, and then redo it and come forward." So that's happened a few times. I just don't put that on the videos. I'm trying to speed it up because I literally went and tried to do live streaming on YouTube, and uh, there was nobody watching me, but that doesn't matter to me. I was just trying to get people to be interested in what I'm doing. I might go back to live streaming, but the thing here is I show all of that in there because it's just I'm going to be sitting in front of the computer anyway. But they aren't something I can download back and save it for an archive to show you all the behind the scenes thinking. um, but I know anyways, I did that in the Psalms because they were easy. They're just small little pieces. So I did it that way in Psalms. So if you want to see some of my ongoing thinking at the time and how I'd make decisions and go back and forth and race around, yeah. um, Things to those. That's the sisters to brothers is needs to be changed to brothers. Judah is Judeans. The people in Judah called themselves Judeans at some time, and then they were Jews that went against our Creator, and Israelis still obeyed our Creator. And this faithless Israel. Now, this is the text that um, when you're trying to decide whether this should go in or not, he's trying to make them aware of in the story here that you witnessed what happened, or you should have enough people after, what is it? This is like only 90 years away from our Creator coming in, taking them away by Assyria. So yeah, that was a either or situation. So he's going to write it as a divorce that they're leaving. Um, went in to their harlot too. So uh, he's just now they should know what's going on here. Like when he's talking about it, like here, when this text here, well, it's blatantly saying evil Israel, and this these are small capital letters, I believe. If not, I have to change them. So, and I guess I can do that when because I'm starting to really get. I tell you, this damn markup buttons, I keep hitting it. It keeps floating all over the place. So, it does what it wants to do. Instead of the word spite, likeness. Now, should I look that up or shouldn't I? 3, is this still 3? Yeah. Let's go take a look at that word. And it was in 10. Let's do that. And when I click on the word spite, oh, it wasn't a very important word for them to put in, for him to strong to put in. It seems like this is some of the editing that they put in on their own. So that's what happens too. A lot of the words don't have the meanings that Strong felt was important enough to put in. You know, trying to put in every of the and these and those, unless they were important to complete the sentence. He was more or less looking for the most important words so you can use his concordance as these are the major words in the text itself, manuscripts. And here I'm using this as a word as well. And let me see, what is that there? Yes, see, even though, so I can say that, yes, I'm keeping that as one word there. See here. And this is what I'm saying, Judeans to Judeans, and then they become Jews. They're gone. They're truly uh, all sinners again. Um, yeah, here's where see, they use the word uh, deception, but it was trickery. Example, every word that you're reading here um, that they wrote has a trickery of words. Say if I said the word, you read something that was incorrect. Well, the thing here is that means it was inside your body. It is correct, not that it's wrong. When I told you that bubble comes around the body, well, it slides up the back, so you're a backslider, and that isn't. See, it's trickery of words that it's like a deception, but it's more of a trickery that you're getting. It's amazing to me how you can find the sugar in the text and not pay any attention to anything else. Yeah, not needed. I'm not going to go over everything. I think when you start seeing a lot of what I'm getting rid of or looking at it seriously, you'll pretty much know that our Creator's not going to have a conversation against himself and explain it as him and you both times as he's talking. So, um, but this is a 4-verse format that didn't make it, even though it's reasonably it could have been used someplace. Let's say they still have the Ark of the Covenant, and they don't understand. Or they're using it as trickery or words, because the covenant is actually his ongoing promises, ongoing promises. The ark or the chest carried the 10 commandments or the 12 commandments. Okay, so this is just blatantly not being said right or written right correctly. In those days changed to later. Again, the sentence. Wonder why I was using a C. I bet you I was just typing in there and mistyped all them. I didn't do a spell check on this before I started. Here, this is not needed. And when I'm trying to correct some of this, I left it in how I thought that the text should have been tried to attempt to be changed. Their voices are heard on your barren hills, weeping as they petition me. Again, what did I do? I guess I need to, there, see, I'm back. I'm good here again. Yeah, there's not much to explain of the changing of the words here. This is just junk. How can you consume the labors of your fathers since your youth? And this is, but it's trickery words. Not lie down, but laid down. Not lay, they laid low, but we are laid low. Um, meaning that the people that are left when I had to add this. Oops, I guess I didn't go over that. Had to add this text. Um, Salvation for Israel's. You have to understand that our Creator is going to send Yah. This is maybe he was even telling them his name and using him, because it was ever since David's time that they found out that there's going to be a king forever and they're going to be able to live in heaven. They gave him a name. So I'm using it here, and I'm using it as if our Creator was going to use whatever name they come up with. So, but they were laid low, and you can see what would happen at Jesus' time. They were all becoming corrupt again, and they were lowered down in status. So I put laid low, not humiliation, but disgraced uh, by your sinners there that are against YV. Okay, now this is going to be text. I'm thinking I've got it wrong, capitalized wrong like this, except for where he's talking. I do believe there's going to be sections in Jeremiah where he's going to discuss what happened after he approaches them. Okay, so that's what's unique about Jeremiah, I guess, when you start getting into the end text. So some of this I'm confusing myself with which part is being said after what happens after he tells the people. Then these little stories of after them, what happened to him then, which is unique. I don't know of another place like that in the text. It might be in Jeremiah, but these others aren't. I mean, not Jeremiah, but Isaiah. Turn to me with all your hearts and minds. You needed to add that. Throw away, not put down. You don't want to pick them back up. These detestable idols, and my presence do not waver or waver. They don't swear, they vow to our Creator as you live in truth and in justice and be a righteous kingdom. Okay. So he's still calling them to return to him. But how many times does he do this? Well, it took him another 50 years after they went crazy with Manasseh. So this circumcision and all that's never been done. That's not, you can't do that to your heart. Not even thinking that way. You'll be mixing words to mean other than what they truly mean. Now, see, I've got a 2-verse format going on. So, but blow the trumpet, round 4 verse. Your standard is a flag. The great destruction, destroyer of the tribes. Lion has gone up from the thicket. Well, this is like a wilderness, not the thicket. A thicket is the overgrowth around Jordan River, because when you see the Jordan River, how low it is under sea level, I think it's like 1,800 feet below sea level, that this river, only because there's water there, there's this growing of constant wildness because nobody inhabits down there. Jericho's down there, and then you have to come up the hill or up to the hillside before you actually get to the promised land that has the abundance of fruits, fields, dates, olives, everything. Set out without people. I use it as without people. Put a sackcloth as old clothing, so let's put that in there. Make sure that's true. Should I put a hyphen in between? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I think I remove all hyphens at the end, so that's what I'm doing. I'm probably getting used to editing than editing different. So finally learning what I'm doing for final editing. The hearts will fail. Yeah, I think I need to look up the word fail here. It's 4, because I have a few of them here I wanted to check. And this is 9. Yeah, it starts with 9. So let's do this and find the word fail here. And their hearts will be broken. They use fail once, fails once. Your hearts will be lost. The heart of arcane, and their hearts will. I guess I'm going to leave it as fail, and then it's got the priest will be appalled. Astonished. And the priest will be appalled. And their diviners astounded. I guess it will be shocked. Is the word maybe instead of astounded, amazed, but I like the word shocked because once they realize that they're wrong, that's what happens. So I have to remember that word because I think I carried it forward. But shocked is the word I'm looking for. So maybe it might get changed as I go forward. But I do like the word shocked, and that here astounded. Now they have utterly, well, they promised to deceive everyone. The diviners will be shocked because their promises were to deceive everyone, but it's not going to be that way. They were saying peace. Oh, they were saying you will have peace, whereas the sword will touch their throats. See, now, like I said, either it's a story of Jeremiah talking about what happened, or it's a prophecy. So these type of things here, at a time it will be said, this would have to be part of his story, and it's not really in keeping with what he says. When you start seeing, you really have to clean the text up to start realizing what is not true. This is not going to happen by a strong wind. And this is not going to be like this. Chariots, like, they're in a hill country, so the chariots are only carrying the leaders to places, and maybe they can fight from time to time in certain areas, but they won't be like whirlwinds running around there. And wash your hearts from evil. That isn't, no. Although I noticed I got them in 3-group formats, so I probably looked at them and most likely didn't fit. Voice declare. Now, when I was telling you, okay, M from here. Now, when Israel started becoming, turning away from our Creator, and it starts right when at Solomon's time, that our Creator tells a prophet to send them that they're going to divide. And it is the second time it's divided. Before then, David unified them, and now our Creator separated them. But Ephraim is the one that's closest to like Damascus, and they started going evil. So those people up there were the Armenians, and they came down and they took over, and that was the first land that was taken from them, and they couldn't win the battle back. And it was Dan, the tribe Dan, was talking about the evilness that's in this, coming from these people. And it was reported to the tribes and proclaimed it in Jerusalem that the evilness has come, so they can lift up their voices. Now that's kind of like, who's going to do this, that they can lift up their voices now in Judah, like watchmen in the field against. And it should be, should be that again. This is the name of their female goddess. Instead of her, they're against her. I put her name in. Found from other places in the text, other Hebrew text. There's actually 3 names for her, and I tried to use the one that I was able to work with. Because of her, they all rebelled to be against me. So once you understand that this practice is going on, this text you'll read it and you'll understand it correctly and fully, as you should now. Okay. Now this is kind of like, you can see that this is text that he would be saying, but what happens is that it's not, it'd be like talking to himself in the text, and to keep out all the extra text, I didn't put stuff like this in as if he was to say it. When he prays, I put that in. When there's a conversation with the people after he prophesies, then I left those in. But a lot of these, this putting up their flag, you've already seen that text up here. So some of the stuff I thought was not, this kind of stuff with him just writing in the book is not really needed here. We know who our Creator is and what He's done. Behold, the mountains were quaking when our Creator looked. The cities were pulled down. Just the wordage is, you can start seeing the trickery. For those of you in the future that kind of go through the text, because pretty sure that if you really want to know how much you're learning and kind of want to specialize and be able to tell people and really teach people, going through the text and correcting it and showing how much you need to correct things and change things and throw things out is a real good way to make sure it's burned into your head. I mean, when you go through these and start saying, well, this isn't right, that isn't right, this doesn't make sense, okay, and then what text you got left, then you can start breaking it down from there, and you're learning a lot more than what someone can teach you. Okay, so no, the caves, not among the rocks, the caves, this is like I said, on the slopes going down to the Jordan. This is kind of like desert for maybe, I think it's 900 feet in distance. and elevation could be a mile or two. This is all desert on both sides. So when you take a look at pictures of Jordan on the internet, you'll see what I'm talking about. But there was a lot of caves there. They wanted to put you'd be hiding in the rocks. It needs to be caves, and they don't dwell. They live there or won't live there. Yeah, don't need to be talking when our creator's saying it's going to be laid to waste and it's going to be for animals to roam around in. All this doesn't need to be even looked at or even tried to be kept. Um, no, no. This we already know from what's going on in the text. This could have been used, but it wasn't. A lot of the times when I've got them like this, I thought I'll check them uh, to be because a lot of times when putting them together, some of these missing verses like this will go in there to help me kind of blend from one story to another. So use take correction, but that's the object that's it's getting late in the day here. Yeah, I just look. I'm yawning at 6 o'clock at night. Although I'm usually up by 5 anyway. So, and I'm getting old. Didn't take my nap. So, yeah. Once you understand there's corruption in the text and it's really being um, this kind of stuff here, you just kind of like after everyone's neighbor. You know, they wouldn't be writing that type of thing in the text. They would just be condemning them. I mean, he's not avenging himself. Um, yeah, boy, there's a lot going taken out here, and there is whole chapters that have been removed because a lot of these are little tiny stories, but not as called. These are just like, okay, our creator's declaring it. So is this a prophecy that was sent to the people? And him to say this, it doesn't make sense that he would here again. But and then here again, here declare this. You know, like how many times does he run around and come out and tell these people these things? I don't think it is the way the text. I know it isn't the way the text is. So, um, okay, evil men. That's right. They're waiting like bird catchers, lying in wait to set a trap to catch his people. Um, yeah, this some of that I could have made into one, but I didn't. Don't need to know. They just need to know that they were trapping his people. Um, not going to get into those words right now. Okay, 34 minutes. Diviners prophesies falsely in my name. So you can see this is going to be um, a prophecy. These are all going to be highlighted as his words. Now look down from the north. See these, you can tell that I made sure the text these are going to be helpful hints later when putting it together. or those type of things would be hints when I was putting them together. See, if our Creator's telling us, then why would these words be put in at all? Um, and then again, now we're going to have another prophecy by our Creator. And yet, actually, when you see these put together, it's one long one. Um, yeah, doesn't make, no, don't need that. Okay, now you can see as to whom will I speak and give warning. This is almost like now it's like he went from a prophecy, and then, like I said, some of this is going to be like his talking to people afterwards. So you see it there that it was like prophecy, and then you've got uh, him talking uh, as writing it down, because I think he's talking to the people. Yeah, he's talking to the people that are going to be left, that are going to live in the land. He's kind of writing to them. To this is why I'm writing. Beware, it's going to happen again. Will they hear the message? Will their ears be closed? Not listen to the word from our Creator. See, he knows it's kind of going to happen again, because Jeremiah had to know what Isaiah was writing, and Isaiah was talking about how they're going to kill Jesus and stuff like that, to where he had to be aware of what the past prophecies were from the last prophet. In fact, I don't think they met each other, but I don't think the stories match up that way, because I know Isaiah, yes, might be prophesying at the time of Josiah. Yeah, but I don't think they. No, and anyways, it's not needed here. Um, all these are too much detail as trying to explain things, and our creators just, he generally speaks, they're coming, they're going to kill you with the um, by surrounding you and things like that, and then starve you out of your place. Um, Here again, they've broken down as people saying peace when there is no peace for them. See, they betrayed the people by not paying attention that there is a living creator. Um, See here again, he's not going to go and ask them questions. Okay, this is just, and then he's going to speak again. I mean, this this book has so many times does he restart, respeak, and things, and um, mm, now this is a prophecy. Even though I had to change the word from this to here, um, I switched the words around to when I'm doing this yellow like this. He states, "Behold, an army will come forth from the north, a great kingdom, and it's a mountainous part, with their bows and spears, and they will have no mercy." I mean, he's telling them what's coming, and now he's starting to be. They don't need to. He doesn't need to say their voices will roar like the sea and ride on horses. This just seems to be extra flowers on top of these other words, and it's no, or no more dead flowers on top of the words here. They aren't needed. Yeah, that's what he's supposed to be telling them, and he kind of making them feel they should be shocked. Some of these people are going to be shocked from hearing what he's saying, um, because at a certain point, Babylon has to be starting to come down, and they could start hearing over this timeline how they're coming down and conquering the land. I mean, right now, it seems that at this time, Babylon is fighting with Assyria itself. And instead of making a mass killing of each other, because what they did was they compromised and became one great big kingdom, and they were going to share the kingdom from one guy's next and one from your area next. So it seems like there would have been too much killing. They decided not to be killed, kill everybody off and fight among themselves. So, and I'm saying this because I've already done the text, and those are a lot of those thoughts come to me when I was doing the text to make sense of things. I have to use a little bit of reason to make logic happen. So, and yes, I'm into the 40 minutes, so I'm going to stop right now. And this you don't need here, and I'm going to leave it there, but that's not any good. But we'll get down here because the destroyer is coming upon you. They're being told it's on the way now. That's no longer like it's not going to happen. It's coming.